Now I got this case almost back together. Well, not almost, I'm way far off, but I put this one. Now, it did come, I did have to order some new bearings, and I had them pressed in. I just took my original right there, and I took it to a machine shop, or actually I took it to Napa. They have a machine shop, and they were able to order these bearings and press them in for me. Same thing on the other side. This part here is this piece here. The bearings are different. They're not the same bearings. But same thing. When I ordered this part, Napa was able to match the bearing, and they also pressed it in for me. And I put it in. I put the case on. I put the primary on. I had to align all the clutch packs in a row, and had to keep wiggling it. And you know you're all the way in when you got about a 1/16 of an inch gap right there. And also, I pried open this mouth here piece. And I was able to pry that open. Once I pried it open, I put the belt in. Gotta make sure that the arrow is facing towards the secondary one. Let me see if I can put it on. Hold on. Okay. Now, one thing I want to show is that this gap here was a whole lot closer. Now, I tried prying it open, and then I dropped it, and it landed on this end, and all of a sudden, the whole thing came in two pieces. It came in half. So I was going to push it back down, but I'm going to take advantage of this gap being open and see if I could get the belt in. And then hopefully I could screw in the bearing, and screw in everything will come back in. We'll see. Well, the belt's in. Trying to see if I can get this belt on where none of the zip ties will be in the way. For now, I'm going to leave them both on until I'm absolutely sure I could cut it and cut it off. Because I definitely want 300 pieces of belt all over my floor. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can get this pressure to come back down in. Okay, let's see. I don't know how this is gonna work. I need to push this back down. Bottomed out. I guess I go ahead and take these off. Alright, I just realized that I forgot to put this in before I put the drums in. So the only way to get it in now is I'm going to take out these 2 screws and get that little, I don't know if you can see it, and get this little bracket here, take it off, because I got to shove it in this way, but see that little hook, it won't let me get it in there whatsoever. So let me get started taking that little, let me get these little 2 screws out. I'm taking these screws out because it's a hell of a lot easier than taking all these out and then putting it back in. Trust me, that's going to take a few minutes to take these little screws out. But let me see. I'll come back once I get these screws out. Alright, so I just finished putting the bracket back in. And now my emergency brake deal is on there. Let's see if I can show what it does. See? Oh crap, I can't get this video probably. Let me show you what the parking brake does. So when you shift the lever on the other side, this rod pulls in and lifts up that tang there. See? There's some slots on there. It goes right in. I'm trying to get that video just right, but see, it goes in there. And that prevents this whole drum from turning. See, it prevents it from turning. Alright, so that's in. Spin it around. No, I got it in there. There you go. You see it in action. Look at that. Parking braking action. Cha. 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 Locked. 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 See? And then you push it in. Now I can spin it. Bang, bang. Okay. Let's continue. I made a big mistake. I tried putting the case back on to trial fit, and there's a little pt2 right there. Okay, I broke it. Let me lay that case down right there. I ordered a new one, which is this one right here, and if you look carefully, see the difference? There's something missing. See that hole? It's supposed to be that little stupid tube right there. See? Hole, tube, hole, tube. What this thing is supposed to do, when you have the case on it, when you slide the case down, you gotta have it turn kind of away so when it comes down, it doesn't hit it. As a matter of fact, I think it's gonna be on, yeah, it's on this one. Then you turn it, and it turns this little deal that way. And what it does is squirts oil on the chain, on the belt. So it's always going to be squirting that oil. And the mistake was that when I put the case down, it hit this, I'm breaking my tube. That's why it's important that you, when you turn that little tube, when you put the case back on, turn it away. Same thing while you're taking it off. Yeah, I made a big mistake. Alright, so what I'm going to try to do is take that out and put this new one on. Okay, so I'm going to try to take this little deal here. I'm just going to pull it out, but it's kind of confined, so I'm going to use a little bit of a crowbar and this thing to grab it. It might come out easier than I think, but we'll see. I'll grab it right there and then give it a little tap behind it. Oh, okay, come on, a lot easier than I thought. Alright, it came out. And then it should just push right in. Make sure you don't lose the little pin there. Okay, there it is. Came straight out. Easy peasy. There's a new one. Bring it around. Okay. Shove it back in the way it came out. Okay. I don't know if you can see it. The pin is in. Some pliers. I felt it going in. I'm gonna bottom it out. There you go. Bottomed up. Now it's fixed. Now let's continue putting it back on, and hopefully I don't break this deal again because it's $65 for this little sucker. All right. I'm using this Permatex automatic transmission RTV gasket maker. I have no idea. It's for automatic transmission, I guess, for any kind of synthetic fluids and non-synthetic fluids. I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be for this, but I'm going to use it. I don't know if you guys want to do that too, but to use it at your own discretion unless you know what else better to use. But it says to put a bead all the way around. This stuff is hard. Let's try this way. There we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it around. It's supposed to be a thin layer. Make sure you get it around the holes. Like I said, I don't know if this is the right stuff, but there's not a book telling you how to do this anyway, so. Before you put the cases together, make sure that this is all the way in, but not on top of the lip, because when you put the case down, you don't want to pin the emergency brake rod in between there. So let's see. Turn this around. This is the bottom side. See? The rod's pushed as far in as possible so that it can clear. Rubber mallet. Make sure the seal all the way around. Okay. I'm gonna take 4 bolts like I put over here, and I'm actually gonna put them on 4 corners for now, just to keep it all together. I'm only gonna hand tighten it. I gotta let it cure for 1 hour. Okay. Very, very light. I'm gonna end up taking the screws back off because I don't even know if I got them all in the right place anyway. This is just to temporarily hold everything back, hold everything together. I still don't know what the torque is. Let's just I'm not even sure if these are the right sizes, but just want to make sure it goes in. I just put one on the inside over here. Same thing. And tighten, that's it. Now at least I know I can move it around for the time being and it won't come apart on me. Now I can go ahead and pull this little rod out. There you go. Alright, let's try to put this in. Break rod in there. And I can't get my fat fingers in there. I'm gonna use these to hold it straight up. Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay. Now we gotta put this in here. This prevents it from going up and down like it was just doing. Let's see. There you go. Right there. And take the nut or the bolt, put it right in there. You're gonna insert these 2 little bad boys. They go, well, this thing has to be facing this way. And this is gonna slide in. And then you got this little hex screw. That's gonna go right in there. So let's start by jamming it in here. I feel it at the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. Put the brass fitting in. Okay, that goes in there. Line it up. And let the roll drop. I feel it on the bottom. It's dropping down more and more. Trying to get the bevels to go all the way down here. This is going to be a little bit tricky because the screw doesn't fit all the way in. So I'm going to have to play with this thing, making it go up and down, including the drum, so that I can make this thing go up and down until I find a notch and slide it in. Okay, here's a trick to getting this part, the bevel there, to go in all the way. Currently, With that rod sticking up, it's not going to go all the way because it's not in that little chamfer part. So what you got to do is you push in on the screw, and with your top finger, just start pushing it down until you feel it. There you go. I just felt it. And now I could tighten up that screw. The bell is going to be up a little bit above flush. But listen. See, I'm actually tightening it up. Okay, so now I'm going to screw it in all the way. Because it's brass, I'm not going to over tighten it. I don't know how much, but I'm just going to do a little bit. Okay. And there it is. Now that part is in. Now, I need to drive this bearing all the way in. There's some threads on this collar inside here. I'm going to use this 1 3/8 socket. I'll put it right there. And try to see if I can drive it in. I don't know if it'll damage anything, but okay. Nah, it's just the coating from the socket. There you go. Bottomed out. And then I ended up pushing this back the way it was, which is all the way in. Alright, let's see. I gotta put this bearing in now. And this one right here. Let me find the right socket for this one. I think this one might be just right. Let's see. I'm gonna use this one. This is a 32mm. It doesn't have any coating. I don't want the coating to get in there. Trying to hold the camera. This I'm doing it with one hand. Bees. All right, let's see. Okay, put this back in. Using that 1 5/8. All right, let's try some compressed air. Oh yeah, everything's still spinning. Okay, let's put the rest of the stuff in this one here. Put this in. We're gonna use the T30. Alright, let's tighten up this other one. I'm using an 1 and 13/16. It's turning the drum at the bottom. Let me hold the bottom part. Okay, now let's put the pump in. The way I pulled the spring out was in this direction. I don't know if you can see it. If you can see it, then just drop it in the hole. So you can grab it like that. Take the pump. Oh wait. I'm gonna replace these O-rings. I got my rebuild kit over here. Got a bunch of them. A bunch of O-rings. Let me find the right size. Might also just replace these since I got brand new ones here. Let me find them. I found the two that matches. Put one ring on the top, one ring on the bottom. So I'm gonna put them in here. You know what? I'm gonna coat that a little bit with oil. Man, it's hard not having two hands. Thought that you could put the pump in any which way, but you can't. See this little hole or indentation right there? That's where that right here, that has to go inside there. So this pump cannot just go in any which way. So you gotta, when you put it in the pump, you gotta kind of orient it where that hole is supposed to go. I got a pen to do that. So you can see the indentation is right there. So I'm gonna make a mark right about here. And then on my pump, it's right there. So I'm gonna mark it on top. Let's see if that works. I think that's my mark. Yeah, that's my mark right there. So as you can see, I got the pump all the way in. See? Well, I took my rubber mallet. I just kept going in circles all the way around. All the way around until it finally seated all the way in. Okay. I'm gonna put this pt2 tube inside. It goes like this. So this is gonna be the last one I'm gonna screw on. I put this little tube in here. Oh, I can get it out. Okay. There you go. That tube. Okay, it's gonna go there. Let's put this cover in. Now I did leave the last one on purpose. I left this one last on purpose until after I put this one on. I'm put on these little small little nuts, screws. we're gonna put plug this hole. Put this back on it. .6mm hex. There you go. Now, that's one thing I want to show you. I completely forgot to do this. If you look on the inside of the pan, well, you know, this is where the where the brain goes. That right there, it looks like it's broken, but it's not broken. What it is, it's an inspection hole. When you fill the case in, I think it takes 4.5 quarts. What you gotta do, you gotta open this up, and you pour the oil from the top. When the oil reaches that level, it'll start coming out through here. When it start coming out through here, that's it. That's when you know you're at the perfect height of your oil. And then you just put this plug back in. And then you put the plug on top of the transmission where you were pouring in the oil. But that's what that is. Inspection hole. So when it reaches that level, all the oil goes in there and out through here, and you can't overfill the case. Alrighty. Now, let's see. This guy right there. Turn them around. And put the last one in there. Okay. Okay, put this cover on. Put it with the top facing up. My own trusty hammer. Change this tone. Now we put these screws on here. One, two, three. That one is also 10mm. Okay. Good deal. I'm gonna have to put it back on the bench and do it. Really will be down. I'm trying to put all the bolts in. See, it'll be down. Front. I see some wear marks right there, so I'm thinking this goes right here. You know, underneath this bolt for this thing right here. So as the drum go up and down, this will let it know what position it's in. That's my guess. So somehow, when I put this back on, it has to go underneath the bolt, because I tried putting it on and I actually bent the hell out of this thing, and I had to bend it back up again. So it has to go underneath that bolt. Let's see if I can open this a little bit more, because what's happening is it's hitting the bottom like right here. I'm gonna see if I could open this up a little bit more, or get this to stay up, or maybe get this thing underneath it somehow. Shit. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can open up this thing a little bit more. Okay, I got it as wide as it'll go. Shoot. Stay still, kind of. Let's see if I can get it underneath that bolt that's in there. It's like 3 things you gotta do at once. Jeez, you gotta plug it in too. Oh my god. Gotta plug it in first. Nice, it's just only 2 plugs. Okay. There's a dowel there to kind of guide you where they go. See, that pin, that damn nut is not where I want it to be. Almost got it. I need a different tool. Damn it. Yep, I got it exactly what I want. That's exactly what I wanted. But now I dropped my bolt in there. It's my magnet. Okay. Let's see if I can show you guys. Not at all. Okay, there goes that little bolt right there. See? Oh man, I can't get that in there. Alright. Try it this way. This lever has to be underneath that bolt from that brass piece that I put on earlier. It has to be underneath it. This bolt that I put on here will help you hold it open. Otherwise, this will be all the way up in here. So let's take this out now. There you go. And now it's nice and the way it's supposed to be. See? And I used this bolt right here, which was perfect. Let me see if I can get the measurement for it. I'll use the metric. It's 12.24 millimeter. And that worked out really well. 12.24. Nope. Alright, now put on the filter. All it is, it just goes right inside right to the hole. And that's it. I'm gonna make sure it goes in the holes. See? Right there. That's it. And then the oil pan, we'll keep this, we'll go right up against this and keep it nice and tidy. And then put the oil pan on. Okay, I'm gonna put this gasket. Oops. The camera. Oil pan. Oh, she's heavier now. Yeah, a lot heavier now. And I just put the sensor in. The little nut that holds the sensor in. Okay, that's in. This right here goes for this. Let's see. All right. Let me start the nuts and go all the way around. Forget about your little bracket here. Okay. We got the sensor in. I just put the little tag label back on there. Let's see. And thankfully they're all kind of the same size. They're all the same. So let's put them on. I found that if you lean the transmission like this, you can easily find all the bolts where they go to instead of doing it the other way, the way I had it with the oil pan down. I could find all of them easily. See, I put this on way too early.